Number 2 is the right range of movement. So again, if we use the deadlift as the example, this will be representative of other exercises as well. But as you can see, I've lifted the weight maybe a foot off the floor, maybe a bit less, 10 inches off the floor, whatever. So I can stand over the weight now, I can come down, I can grab onto the weight, I can lift it up and I can do my 6 reps. And then I can go back down, I can place them back down and I can lift them back up again. So why am I lifting them up off the floor? Well, one reason I would lift them up off the floor is if I don't have the hip range of movement. Now, if you haven't got the hip range of movement, you can still do strength training because you can just lift the weight up, which allows you to get into that position and lift. What I would also advise is that you develop your hip range of movement so you can then lift from the floor. Because what you may find is if you've got the weights on the floor, you can't get down there without folding at the back. So you need that extra sort of 6-8 inches to be able to get into that position so you can lift up. That's where a step can come in, or anything, a couple of plates, weights, that you can just lift it up so you're then able to maintain that position that we talked about when we're using the right weight, but we're also able to lift because we don't have the range of movement. Because all these things can affect lifting heavy, because lifting heavy puts us at a greater risk of injury because of the extra load. So we need to sort of build into it as well, which we'll talk about later on. But number 2 is having the range of movement to be able to lift. And again, as I mentioned, if you can't lift from the floor, you're going to need to be able to raise the weight up so you are then able to lift off of something. Now, one thing that you can do as well, but again, you've got to know your range of movement, is you don't need a step. You could pick them up off a side of a bench, and then you can do a sort of Romanian deadlift style and just go up and down like so without actually putting them down. So that's another way that you can do it. But again, you've still got to know your range of movement, because can you get down that far and then you round? Or can you get down that far and then you round? That's something that needs to be understood before you can really load things up. So you've got, in number 1 that we talked about, using the right weight, so that doesn't pull you out of position. Then we've got to get the range of movement right, so that doesn't pull you out of position. So far, we've got 2 of the variables that could put us at a greater risk of injury, that if we get right, we can get much more out of the muscle than if we were getting them